Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Shangri-La Frontier, episode 16, in which the fight with Weathermon will continue, and perhaps even conclude. We'll see. We'll see how long it takes. In the previous episode, Rei finally wrote to Sanraku, and unfortunately, they weren't given a chance to go about the new things from the update together, to discover the new patch notes, etc. Because Rei was called in by her sister, and Sanraku also had something to do, that something being Weathermon raid, and Rei's something was the raid on the, what are they called? Toa Amanes guild. The PKing guild, in any case. So they're both busy. Sanraku had some really nice moments with Emul, and I learned that apparently their voice actors are married. So, cool. Good on them. Good on them. Get that bunny, Sanraku. That was a thing. Then we saw the raid on the guild. Of course, all the other guilds, a lot of them joined in because nobody likes PKers, so of course they would, and that means the guild is busy and they will not visit the Weathermon arena, and they will not bother Sanraku and the gang while they are trying to score a Weathermon kill. Toa bought up the entire supply of resurrecting items from the entire game, it seems, and we've already seen one use of it when Sanraku did succumb to Weathermon's strikes, because they are like, what was it, single frame of dodge, right? You have a single frame of animation to dodge or counter or something. Yeah, not an easy boss, certainly. Sanraku's faring very well against it though. Already figured out the moveset, already figured out when to dodge, how to dodge, when to attack, how to attack, and yeah, that's where we ended up with. Sanraku being defeated and then rising again from I don't know, login screen or wherever do the players go. And he's back in fight. Anything else? Oh, Sanraku got that like pendant that does nothing, has no effect from Emul. We all know that's a blatant lie, and that this amulet will probably be very significant in his quest. But as far as, you know, everybody is concerned, that amulet has absolutely no effect. It's completely useless. It's just a, you know, gesture of I know, of something, of affection from Emul to Sanraku, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I think that's gonna be better. And lock the exposure. We don't want it to change. Locked, locked. Perfect. Okay, so I guess that's gonna be it. That's gonna be a very short intro. We should just start watching this episode, right? How's that sound? To do it, you will need your subs, of course, to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word. It costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching episode 16 of Shangri-La Frontier in 3, 2, 1, go. This episode means we're gonna be 2/3 through the show. Hopefully news about season 2 soon. I guess we're getting a little bit of a recap. Right? Some sort of a unique condition for win. Because he also changes phases with time. Yep. Oh, and Samaraku finally got a new piece of equipment. A sash that raises his HP by like 10 points or something. So that's also probably gonna be irrelevant. That's the goal. I really enjoyed this opening. Hands down, the best opening of the season. Out of the shows I'm watching, of course. I'm not watching every single show. Maybe I should do... That actually would be a cool idea, I think. Every season, special reaction video or reaction stream where I just watch the openings of all the shows airing this season. That might be interesting. Might sway me towards watching an anime that I completely dismissed. Right? Tell me what you think about it. Because I would be very much open to that idea. Because I know, maybe I'm missing out on some absolute bangers, right? We haven't seen this character yet. Danger. All right. Mm-hmm. Full HP, well damn. Essentially better than a healing item, right? Oh, just 12? That's not a lot. I thought she has like 50 of them or something. Yeah, don't drop it. That's also very useful. What are you willing to bet that they're gonna defeat the Weathermon on like literally last life and last HP point? Yeah, there's always gonna be someone able to resurrect the others. Amazing music, as usual. Zombie tactics. I mean, it does have a nice ring to it, doesn't it? That reminds me, I should finish Zom 100. And that's where the previous episode ended. Dodge, block, counter, dodge, okay. Yeah, easy. Yeah, the scales, right? Supposedly, from what you guys tell me, everything that appears in the show actually like matters. It might be revealed like 17 chapters into the manga, but Everything has a purpose. Even the weird scales. Well, full respawn, because you also have half respawns. Oh, weapon durability. Yeah, that's gonna be a factor. You probably should have gotten some, like, weapon repair items as well. Assuming they exist, right? It's not a given. Wind Slash? No. Thunderclap. Oh, okay. I thought it was a debuff or something, but no. On the contrary. AoE. And of course it's insta-kill. Why wouldn't it be? And watch him getting struck. Truly Weathermon, huh? Thunderland Lightning, Nimbus Clouds. Just dodge. And another resurrection item down. I choose you, Sanraku. Well, that was quick. And Towa is just watching, huh? Okay, 4 big resurrections down. Sanraku only has... yeah, Sanraku has 3. Towa has 1, and Kei also has 1. Okay, Towa has none. Rei has 1, Sanraku has 3. What are the scales? Okay. Question and answer. Thank you. Did he overheat? Or is he preparing a big attack? Okay, so next phase then. Music picks up. New attack patterns. Export. Mounted combat. You still have the half resurrections. It's big. It's a warhorse. Yeah, I mean, it's essentially a boss on its own. So Katsu takes care of the mount, and Sanaraku takes care of the Weathermon. Great shot. With the hair being slicked back by the wind. Well, damn. And there come the missiles. It's a good game, so of course you never played it. Yeah. And lasers. Interesting. Yeah, so you can probably exploit that fact. And of course, access ladders. Okay. Seems easy enough. Probably isn't. Third, who was the first? Animalia? Probably. She likes animals, doesn't she? Reward scales, huh? What would that be? Like the ability to remotely purchase items? Okay. So you sacrifice some items and get buffs in return. That's a cool system. Do you have any control over what kind of buff you get? What should be just a luck buff? Perfect for Sanraku, useless for anybody else. Oh, you get a choice. Stat point bonus, that's gonna be useful. Some great faces. Temporarily. Does it have perchance a 10-minute duration? That's a lot of stat points. That's a lot. And the music picks up again. Yeah. Luck and speed, probably. Oh, stamina and luck. Sure. Yeah, you got really good training. Makes sense why Visage made the test of perseverance, right? Scales with luck, probably. Disarmed. There we go. He can probably summon it right back. Oh, Sanraku's gonna capture the sword. You probably can't use it. Yes. You haven't spec'd into longswords. Yeah, that's exactly how he beat the mage monster. Or, well, how Visage beat it. No. Was it Visage or was it Sanarak who disarmed him? I think it was Visage. And he falls off. Well, shit. I guess durability ran out. And yeah, of course, Weathermon would have some unarmed combat options as well. Mm-hmm. Dodge. Taken aggro. Bad move, yeah. You don't want to get close. Use the res item. Are you fast enough, though? That's the question. You are. Good. Whew. Clutch. You have half-res items, and I assume you also have some healing. So a half-res item plus a healing potion is essentially a full-res item. Yeah, fair, actually. I mean, if it works. If it works, it works. Don't you have any health potions? Okay, next phase then. It's not it, is it? 100% there's more. Unless there isn't because of the Rabituza questline and the pendant and stuff. Sheds his armor, which probably was only slowing him down, and now he's going like full whatchamacallit? Glass cannon. Glass cannon versus glass cannon. What of the horse? you probably want to hide behind the tree, maybe, to, you know, remove yourself from the line of sight. Saint's Holy Water. Yeah. Right, so he's probably an undead rather than a robot. Yeah, fair assumption. Yeah, it's doing something. Credits. Of course. Of course, we're getting another cliffhanger. Why wouldn't we? Oh boy. And now I gotta wait a week again. I love that the Emul being used as an accessory is a part of the ending. I wonder how much more of the Weathermon fight. I mean, at least the next episode, that's for sure. I wonder if he only has 3 phases, or is there more? My bet is 3 phases, and then we continue the Weathermon story, but it kind of like diverges because of Sanaraku's involvement in the Rabituza storyline. Instead of, I know, having to kill the Weathermon, you can reunite him with what's her face? With his beloved, right? Maybe. Of course. That's why he's traveling into the countryside. Oh? Right, I guess makes sense, yeah. Yeah. Classic Sanraku. What should be Rei? What should be Rei? Yeah. Or Katso. Could very well just be Katso. competition, competitive spirit. Ah. Okay. That was a very nice episode, what can I say? And I guess I should crank up the exposure a little bit after all. Oh, right, that's it. Let's watch it again, shall we? Yes, we shall. Alright. If you're wondering why the player looks so weird, it's because my usual player just stopped displaying subs spontaneously, so I have to use MPV player, which works very well, so there we go. That's a bunch of recap. Yeah. Recap. OP. We are shown where they got the items from, how many of them there are. Yeah, actually that's nice, because I was under the assumption that they have like, I don't know, 100 of those items or something ridiculous like that, but no, there are in limited supply, so the characters still have to worry about dying, potentially. Oh, sorry. Secret formula sealed within specially treated glass. When used on a disabled target within 10 seconds, it revives them with half of their max HP. Life is a never-repeating cycle, but what a noble thing it is to fight against the tide. And the balls have a different description. Do they show the description of it? No, I don't think so. Okay. 27 resurrection items in total, yep. Sanraku tanks the Weathermon. Katsu and Towa are focused on reviving, and later Katsu is also useful to tank the second monster. We know what the scales are now, yeah. Weapon with enhanced durability. This is actually interesting, durability on weapons being a factor, right? I fairly rarely see durability in MMOs actually matter. Single-player games, if anywhere, right? Like, I know, the new Zelda games, for example, they are kind of infamous for the durability, but in MMOs, I can't quite recall any MMO that would have durability, unless those, like, post-apocalyptic zombie MMOs, right? When your bat eventually breaks or whatever. Then yeah, that. Marsh Daggers v3. And yeah, the weapons don't really matter because you can't really damage Weathermon either, so you only really need weapons for parrying the attacks. So ideally you would rather have a buckler or something and use that for defense. This is great. Got no clue on that one. And Katsu dies, Sanraku dies. Yeah, it really shows. This really shows that Weathermon is a tough opponent, right? I really, really like how they actually fail. I really enjoy this aspect. Very often in anime like that, and not just anime, right? Light novels, manga, etc. Defeat is not really a thing. It's not really a factor. It's only a factor when the characters need to be defeated for a reason, and the whole battle ends with a defeat, right? Like, you know what I mean. For example, a character fights a hyper powerful boss, and they die to that boss so that they can be resurrected at an underground shrine and pick up a quest from that underground shrine, or whatever kind of bullshittery like that. Or they can be saved by a goddess or whatever, right? Whenever a character enters a fight and they are supposed to win that fight, they just win it. There might be a moment where they stumble a little, maybe get grazed by the enemy, but always are down to at max like 1 HP, and then they continue and they win, right? It's usually how it goes. Rarely do you see like resurrection items, for example, being a factor. Like here, right? And your teammates actually resurrecting you, or resurrecting the main character, because everybody needs to stay in a fight. It's cool. I like it. Shangri-La Frontier proves yet again that it's a very fresh approach to the topic. And we get an explanation about the scales. Yeah. Phase 2, export summon call. Amazing effect on this magical circle. And it's a big-ass horse. This is a really cool shot. This one. I really like it. I really like the movement of the hands. I really like the hair being slicked back. I just really like this shot. It's animated in once too. Oh, that's why I like it so much. Yeah. Alright. It's cool. It's a really cool shot. I really like it. Must prevent them from combining. That's why you need 2 tanks. A dodge tank and a health tank. Perfect. And yeah, if they combine, you are fucked. Cavalry Crisis. Of course, Sanraku doesn't know that. This is cool. I really like that, like the story and the flavor actually matters, right? The appearance of an enemy is that of a robot or a cyborg or whatever. The lore is that of a cyborg, maybe. But it's mentioned that he's an undead guardian. So he's an undead, right? You don't see the, I don't know, designation of that enemy on a big-ass window when you look at him. You have to figure out what he is. Cool. Really cool. The Kirin is a robot. What does it mean? Well, it needs maintenance. It needs a maintenance hatch. It needs a maintenance ladder. It probably opens up somewhere so you can fiddle with the wires, right? Cool. I like it. Kinda sorta reminds me of Log Horizon, where it also turns out that over time the flavor text of items becomes more and more like, whatchamacallit, more and more real, I guess, would be the way to put it. It's cool. I like it. I like it really much. Archaeologist sub job. And yeah, golden scales. You can place items on one scale, and on the other scale you get a buff. And if you place a lot of items, you get a lot of buff. And it really seems like Towa is betting all of her possessions. Some really cool faces here. Reminds me of... what was the anime that also had plenty of faces like this one? I'm not thinking of Plastic Nessan, I don't think. I'm... or maybe I am. I think it might have been Sabagebu. Maybe Sabagebu. Maybe Plastic Nessan. Something in that ballpark. Something in that ballpark, but this face really reminds me of faces that I've seen in some anime. Yeah, of course, Sanraku is having issues. Katsu is having issues, thankfully. The scales give you 1 stat point per 100,000 money. So yeah, there we go. 50 points each. Stamina and luck for Sanraku, something else for Katsu. And yeah, this really makes me believe, if it wasn't evident enough, yet, that the Rabbituza storyline is heavily tied to all of those special enemies, special monsters, colossi, or whatever you want to call them. It really does, because Visage trained Sanraku in like survival combat. It wasn't for no reason, right? Like, the in-world explanation was that, oh, you won't be able to defeat him anyway, so at least survive. But from a game design standpoint, it is to prepare you to battle a different, stronger enemy who also has this sort of a mechanic where you also need to survive. It's a very common thing where you start by fighting regular small enemies that have a specific mechanic, and then you fight a boss that has that mechanic but elevated even higher, right? You start by fighting random shield bearers on your way, and the best way to defeat them is to parry their attack. Then they stand wide open and you can attack them. Meanwhile, the boss, you can only damage them by parrying their attacks, right? For example, it very much is reminiscent of something like that. Hand of Fortune, yep, disarming. And of course, Sanraku didn't spec into single weapons, didn't spec into strength, which kind of begs the question, what would happen if there was a character in their team who did spec into single, like one-handed weapons or long swords or whatever, and would be able to use this? Does it even qualify as a katana yet? Oh, what's the name for the long katana? It's not. No, it's not Naginata. Naginata is the pole arm. Whatever. That long katana. Would they be able to use it to a decent effect against the Weathermon, or is it only strong in the hands of Weathermon? Maybe could be another way to approach the fight and beat Weathermon with his own weapon. Maybe there's an achievement for that. Who knows? Nimbus Fist, yeah. But we know how it works, so that's beneficial. Of course, the rope breaks. And, yeah, taking the aggro. And yeah, probably a better idea to let Weathermon keep his sword, because you at least know the moveset. If you take away his sword, he doesn't become completely disarmed, which is what you would have hoped for, but it's not the case. And you would have to learn the unarmed moves all right from the beginning. So it's better to let him have the sword. You know what Wind Slash does, you know how to dodge it, you know the timings. This is an amazing idea. This is an amazing idea. Just wrap yourself, tie yourself to the monster, it's not gonna throw you off. And of course, you want me to go tighter, whatever you're into. Shaking's draining the HP, that's interesting. And yeah, 10 minutes are up. I really thought that it's gonna be it for just a moment. That, or maybe that normally it wouldn't be it, but it's a moment of clarity for Weathermon, and he notices the pendant that Sanraku has, and it's like, you know, the whole fight diverges because there is someone who progressed the Rabituza storyline. But no, doesn't seem to be the case. Ashurakai, yeah, that's the name of their clan. Phase 2 is over. Phase 3 is an AoE Howl and Shockwave that insta-kills you. Thankfully, yeah, in Shangri-La, keys to victory come from the story. Story matters. I like it. I really do. I'd always assumed Weathermon was some kind of a cyborg. I assumed that just as well, right? Because Weathermon and... where is she? Setsuna. Weathermon and Setsuna come from that, like, technologically advanced past of this world. So I assumed that Setsuna passed away, so Weathermon just, you know, packed himself full of cyberware to be able to survive forever and forever protect her grave, something like that. He lost his humanity, became a cyborg or a complete robot with human consciousness, yada yada yada. But it would qualify as an undead, right? Living corpse who'd outlived his time. So, classification as an undead monster. So, holy water. And it's really effective. He did release a howl. We don't know if it's the howl or some other howl. Question remains, or remains to be seen, whether he will release the AoE shockwave as well. "22 minutes. Yeah, that's a good time. And a day from Sanraku's life. Hunting an unopened copy of a VR game that has a BGM. That has a BGM because that's actually a very good point. Right? Like, when you're playing a 2D game like that on your screen, then BGM kind of makes sense because you're not that immersed into it. Right? Ultimately, you just witness the things happening on screen. You don't take part in them directly. So BGM kind of makes sense. But if you like fully dive into the game, if it's like reality, well, you don't have BGMs in reality. So it creates a dissonance. Actually makes sense. Actually makes a ton of sense. Cool. I like it. I really do. And yeah, and it's a rhythm game in full dive VR with annoying BGM, and you probably also get a pair of like shitty plastic cat ear headphones from the game that also sound like shit. Perfect. Perfect for Sanraku. In the middle of nowhere. And he actually like behaves like a hunter. The tracks are still fresh. Oh, there's some shit laying over there. Was it a bear? No, I think it might have been a possum. Let me try again. No, maybe a bear after all. There was that video, if you didn't know what I'm referencing, where a guy was like just, tracker eating some animal dung, and the big funny thing is that they're asking, "Oh, so was it a bear?" And he's like, "What bear?" You would have to watch it to know. Regardless, let's continue. I really like how he's behaving like a hunter. Trash game hunter, yeah, indeed. Yeah, there's no way there are two unlimited open copies. We gotta warm up, right? There's someone who's also gonna be... Oh, wait, that's it? Yeah, something like that. Gotta warm up because I'm gonna have to race someone else for the game. Yeah, I fully expected that someone to be maybe Rei, who still tries to get herself into the mindset of playing Ksoge, and she figured that, oh, I like rhythm games, like, 2D rhythm games, I like music, so maybe I should try this one, and she just happens to be here, or maybe Katso, or... Though Katso doesn't like Ksoge, so probably not the case, but I fully expected Rei to be here. Alas, it was just Sanraku. This is a great scene, just drinking in the game. How is your taste bud development, Sanraku? We haven't had any progress on that. I have not forgotten that it's something that he still needs to level up. Maybe after the Weathermon business is done, he's gonna be able to, get some Sakura jam or something from Setsuna's tree, and that's gonna level up his taste buds. That would actually be really nice if the plot line of leveling up his taste buds was like parallel to the main plot line. That would be super cool. But we haven't seen any updates on that in a while, so who's to say? Who's to say? Alright. Right. another good episode of Shangri-La Frontier. What can I say? Amazing fight. I was afraid, I was afraid when we got the recap episode, stuff like that, because a recap episode usually means there's some production quality issues. Oh, well, production issues. And usually after a recap happens, everything just fucking nosedives to the bottom. Because there is rarely a way to make up for any production issues in just a single week. Right? Like you have fucking Zone 100 as an example. They had so many delays, so many dead weeks that they just lost seasonal slots. Right? And all those delays didn't happen, didn't help. Yeah, they just didn't help. They still lost the slot. A single delay just did not help whatsoever. And they had to air the last, 3 episodes this season, right? So delays like that and recap episodes like that usually mean things are going to shit. Doesn't seem to be the case in case of Shangri-La Frontier, though. Certainly doesn't seem to be the case. Because the animation is on point, as always. The music is on point, as always. Everything is just on point. I guess maybe the delay was because they just needed a little bit more time to give us a little bit more of fighting. Because this entire episode essentially is just one big fight. One big dynamic fight with a lot of dynamic shots, with a lot of animation done on once, with a lot of effects, and not an ounce of CG. No, the scales are CG for some reason, but the main parts of the fight are not, right? I would have fully expected Weathermon to be CG, not gonna lie, but he isn't. And I guess maybe that's why they needed that extra time, because previous episodes of Shangri-La had a fair share of fighting in them, but they were never fully a fight. We never had 18 minutes long fights. So I guess that explains the delays. Cool. I'm calmed down, I guess you could say. Because production issues don't show themselves yet, so I don't think they will show themselves whatsoever, and that's good. That's very good. I'm in awe with the game mechanics. The fact that resurrection items are so rare, are not as common as I thought, because the trope would be that they are fairly common and you can just use them willy-nilly, especially when you have someone who's this rich in game. But no, they only have a limited amount, and they used a lot of them. So there is an actual real possibility of a failure. Right? I guess... An interesting thought that just came to my mind. That's a thing that I believe the... playing an MMO genre of anime has over just fantasy or isekai or trapped in an MMO genre, although not every, I guess it depends on the specific kind. What I mean is that there's a real possibility of a failure, right? There is a real, actual possibility that they will fail. That every single one of them will die, they will run out of resurrection items, and they will just fail. Why is it a possibility? Because they will be able to resurrect in town and maybe try again in the future. When you're dealing with a fantasy show or an isekai show, you know that the main character will not die. They just won't. They will, of course, succeed in their fight. So that takes away a little bit of the tension. Meanwhile, when you have something like an MMO, like here, or even trapped in an MMO, akin to Log Horizon, for example, where people can resurrect, it adds tension. It might be counterintuitive, but in my mind it actually adds tension because there is an actual possibility of a failure. Yeah, I just realized that. In general, really cool fight, really tense. I really found myself just being glued to the screen at times, actually being nervous whether they will succeed or not, which is not often. It doesn't happen often that a battle in an anime actually makes me tense. And that's in a large part because I always have the the knowledge that, oh, they're a main character, they're not going to die because the anime would just end at episode 3. So, of course they're gonna win. Not so much in this case. And that's cool. That's great. In general, amazing episode. I enjoyed myself a lot. It sucks that we're gonna have to wait another week for the next episode. I would really like to binge it right now, but alas, we can't. So, I think that's gonna be it from me for today, but maybe you guys have something more to add on the topic, and if so, say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? And no spoilers, please. Spoilers can go to my Discord here, also linked in the description below. Like this video if you did, subscribe to be notified of future videos, not only Shangri-La, but also Magia Record, Freeren, Majo Toyaju, Sasaki Topi-chan, plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified of when I go live, because I do sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Magia Record, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. You can also support me directly on YouTube via memberships, super thanks, super chats, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do the good stuff. And I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my one for Patreon: Scooby, Without a Net, Survivor, Zaire, Nakamasar, Dr. Watt, Marshika, Fasal, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to dodge Weathermon's attacks.